everyone, welcome back to my channel Code with Hafiz. This is Hafizullah Masoudi, and in this video I'm going to introduce you to the Vuex library, and I will show you how you can use it and install it in your Laravel 8 project. So first of all, you have to know what is Vuex and why we need it in our application. Well, suppose you have this API based big application, and in this big application, suppose you have a lot of API requests and you get the data or submit the data to the database using API requests, and it will become very hard when there are a lot of API routes or requests in your application, and you won't be able to manage them easily. So this is when Vuex comes handy, because Vuex is mainly used for state management in your application. And using Vuex, you can create a centralized store for your application, and you can use all the data throughout your application from the single store. So that is the main point of Vuex. So let's start by installing Vuex in our Laravel 8 application. So in your browser, open a new tab and search for Vuex in Google, or just go to vuex.vuejs.org, and in here you can see they have a video about how Vuex works, and it will show you everything about Vuex. And if we scroll down, so in here you can see the visualization of the cycling of Vuex and how it works. And if we scroll down, in here you can also see how Vuex works. As you can see, we have this backend API which sends the request to the actions of Vuex, and then the actions commit mutations which will mutate the state, and then we can get the states using getters and show them in our Vue components. So that's everything about Vuex. And if we scroll down, when should you use it? Well, let's go to this installation at this sidebar to install Vuex in our application. So to install Vuex, we can use either npm or yarn. I will use yarn. So let's copy this and open our application in the text editor. And in here, what I will do is open the terminal and paste the command and press enter. So guys, Vuex has been successfully installed. Now let's also run our yarn run watch to compile our changes. And while it compiles, let's go to this resources JS, and let's right click here and create a new folder, and let's name it store. And inside this store folder, let's right click and create a new file, and let's name it store.js. So inside this store.js file, we need to do a couple of things. First of all, let's import Axios. So, well guys, we can copy everything from the app.js. So let's go to app.js, and what we can do is copy these two lines of code and paste it in our store.js. After this, let's import Vuex. So import Vuex from Vuex, and after this let's use Vuex. So view.use Vuex. Oh, it should be use, and then Vuex. And after that, let's export const, name it store, and which should be equal to new Vuex dot store, parenthesis, curly braces. And inside here, what we have is, let's say we have state in Vuex store, and we have getters in Vuex store, and we have mutations in Vuex store, and finally we have actions. So let's save it So now what we have to do is import our store in app.js. So let's go to app.js and let's import it after this view. Let's say import curly braces store from ./store folder /store file, and then we have to use it after this element id of app. So let's say store comma and save our file, and gratefully we don't have any errors. So to check if our Vuex is working just fine, let's work on this user data and get this data using Vuex and show it in our dashboard. So what I will do is, let's comment everything in here and let's go to our store.js and let's create a state. So in here I will say users and parentheses, and for the getters we can get the users, let's name it users, and colon, let's say state, and after that fat arrow parentheses, and let's return state dot users, and after that let's set a mutation. So set underscore users, and we have state comma data, which will come from the Axios request. It should also be equal to, let's say state dot users should equal to the data that is coming from the database. And inside our actions, what we want to do is get the users. So let's say get users, and in here let's say context, and it should be equal to curly braces, and let's put our Axios request in here. So what I will do is copy the request from here and paste it here. Well, let's uncomment it, and instead of this response assigning to this user, what we can do is commit this mutation. So let's say context dot commit and parentheses, then we want to call our set users mutation, and then we want to send the response. So comma response dot data. So now let's access this users getter in our dashboard. So let's go to views and let's go to home blade. Well, we have to access it. Well, let's delete this, all of this from here, or not all of this, guys. Let's remove it, and what we can do is, when we want to access the Vuex getters or state, we have to access them throughout the computed property. So let's call our computed and colon curly braces, and in here let's say we want the users, and we want to return this dot. When we want to call the store, we say $store, and then dot getters, and then dot users. Well, this will not work because we have to run our actions. So what we can do is create a mounted function in here, and in here we can say this dot $store dot dispatch. When we want to call the actions, we call dispatch, and then we want to say get users. Well, don't forget to put your comma here. And now if I go back to the browser, well, let's refresh and log into the system, and our system should work just fine. So let's log in as hafiz@app.com. Password is password. As you guys can see, there isn't any errors, and if we check the console, you can see we don't have any errors. And if we go to this view div tools and to the root, you can see we have this computed property which is coming from the Vuex store. So guys, this was how to install Vuex into your Laravel 8 project and how to fetch data from the Vuex store. So I hope you enjoyed watching the video, guys, and if you enjoyed watching the video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel to not miss any updates, and please share the video with your friends, and also don't forget to hit the like button. So thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next video.